Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to come on and I'm going to show you all how to make this beautiful bookmark. I also made this one. I still have to put the tassel on this one. I haven't put the tassel on yet. And on the camera, it doesn't do them justice. The metallics are not showing up. This almost looks yellow, but it's gold. It looks really pretty. And I have a touch of silver on there as well. Yeah, let's see if you can see it. Yeah, I think that turned out pretty good. All right, to do this project, you will need some Sculpey clay. I use the Primo brand. This is some white that I have left over from a project I was working on. I will also be using a template, one of the templates that I just purchased in my haul from Michael's the other day. You can go back and watch that video if you like. You will need a tissue cutter, a straw. I have some of my acrylic stamping blocks that I use. I also have another cut piece. This goes to a bracelet form that I use, and I will be doing a video on that to explain what this is. But I use both of these to make my bookmarks. You will need some mica powders. I have this chrome silver I picked up at one of the local nail supply stores. And then I have the pearlesque. I have, let's see, this is pearl white, and this is Aztec gold that I'm using. Okay, and you'll also need some stamps, and these are alphabet stamps. I don't remember the name of this stamp set. It's one that I've had for years. But they're all uppercase letters, and it has the numbers in it. But I wanted to show you all, this is the laminated packet that I make, the little pouches. I have a video if you want to go back and watch it that shows you how to make these. I just use the Scotch thermal laminating sheets, and I make these little pockets to keep all my stamps and my dies in. And I believe that is everything you will need, along with some thread to make your tassel that hangs on. Okay, all right, well, let's get started. First off, you'll want to make sure that your clay is good and conditioned. My clay is all conditioned. I ran it through my pasta machine at a number 7, which is my widest, my thickest. What I'll usually do is I'll take this acrylic dye and lay it on top. And then I will go around with my tissue blade and clean this up nice and neat. Okay. Now, I don't cut off at the bottom yet because depending on how many letters are stamping the names on here, depending on how many letters are in it, I want to make sure I have the length to put the letters on, okay? So then I'll just take the die and I pull that off. Okay, I've got that done. And you can always take your little forms and just kind of, if it gets a little misshaped, kind of push it back together nice and neat. All right, and I like to take a little bit of water and mist onto my template. Okay, and then I'll lay that on top, and you can use your fingers just to mush this around. You want to make sure you get it worked in really good. Now I have, this is a fondant roller that I use. And like I said, you can just use your fingers, but I have this, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to push this in a little bit. Make sure you roll it really good. Get that impression in there. See, when you lift it up, you can see how it leaves the indentation there. Then you want to just try and line it up a little bit more on the bottom. And again, I'm going to roll it and make sure I get that texture in there. Okay, and when you get to the line here where it ends, you want to be real careful about how you place it and pushing. You don't want to push but so hard, because then it'll leave that line there. Okay, I have some paper towels here. I'm going to kind of wipe up some of this water. Okay, now that I have that, again, I'm going to take my acrylic blocks and my acrylic die form and just kind of make sure I've got it shaped how I need it. Okay, make sure everything's nice and square. All right, that looks good. Okay, now I want to make this bookmark for one of my friends. All right, you want to make sure you leave room at the top for your hole, and I use the straw. I'll just go ahead and leave a good little distance from the edge, center it, cut my circle out there. Okay, see where my circle's at the top now. Right, and I'm going to place all my letters, try to get them nice and centered. Okay, now it looks like one of my other letters I'm going to need to use twice. So what I'm going to do, and thank goodness it's here at the bottom, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to press these down using this form again. Just kind of jiggle it around back and forth a little bit. Don't want to lift up though, because that'll leave like double lines. Okay, kind of pushing down, make sure you get a really good imprint. Okay, I'm going to lift this. Okay, and all my letters took really well. All right, and now I'm going to go back and I'm going to put this other letter back down here at the bottom that I need to use again. And I'll take my form, and I'm going to just push, kind of rock it back and forth, push down on it, nice and solid. Okay, there we go. All right, and there's my imprint. Let's see if you can see that on the camera. Everything come up pretty well. Okay, now since I lifted that, everything kind of got wonky on me again. So all you got to do, take your form and just push everything back in. All right. Everything's nice and smooth, nice and neat. All right, now, so I have the length, all my letters cut out, and I would just want to go across the bottom here. The bottom edge off. Right, and again I'm going to take this and just kind of square it up, make sure everything's nice and in line. Okay, and if you can see, as I'm pushing on the top a little bit, the hole where I use the straw, it does tend to get a little it turns into an oval. That's the word I'm looking for. All right, so now I have this. Now, while your clay is wet, before you bake it, well, not wet, but before you bake your clay, you want to put your mica powders on, because after it's baked and the clay is dry, they do not stick. So what I do is I just take a little bit, dip my finger in, just kind of rub it around a little bit on here. Not too hard because you don't want to mess up your texture imprint that you left. Just enough to leave some of this mica powder in place. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and do my other colors, and I will just going to speed the video up for you all. I'm going to go ahead and take my tissue blade and just kind of gently run it underneath, because I don't want it to get misshapen again. And when I bake this, I like to bake on a small sheet of paper. So I'm just going to lay it across my paper here like so. Okay. And I usually bake mine at 275, and I tin it, and I'll bake it for usually for about 30 minutes, because I want to make sure that, you know, that it's baked and it's completely done, so it's, you know, not as easy to break. Okay. All right, I'm going to pop this in the oven, like I said, and I'll be back with you guys in a little while. All right, while that's baking in the oven, I'm going to go ahead on this one. The first one that I showed you all, I had gone over it with some polyacrylic just to keep, you know, everything in place and keep the mica powders from rubbing off. Even though it's been baked, it's nice to, you know, seal your projects a little bit. So, and I'll use this Minwax polyacrylic, the clear gloss. I'll just give it a little bit of a sheen. I'm just going to run this across the top of it real lightly. Doesn't take a whole lot. You know, just put a little, you know, a thin coat on it. Okay. And then once this side dries, I'm going to set it over to the side. Once that side dries, I'll go back and I'll put some on the back side. All right, you guys, I decided to take the embroidery thread off of the bookmarks. I forgot I had this seam binding. I purchased this from My Scrap Cabin, her Etsy shop, and I think this would look better on there than that embroidery floss did. So I'm going to cut a strip of this and put on there. I have some other colors. I think the white's going to look the best. Wish I had a gold. A gold would be really pretty, or a gray or a silver. But that's all I have is the white. But I think the white will look nice. So I'm just going to put this on there. Let's see what this looks like. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks better. Let me trim it down just a smidge. Yeah, that looks nice. All right, you guys. I think that looks a lot better than the embroidery floss. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you think I should do the seam binding or if I should stick with the floss. I like this. I think it looks nice. Or if you have any other suggestions. All right, and that's all there is to making that. It's just like this once it's baked and dried, and you just put on, you know, just tie your tassel around, tie your tassel on, and then you can go back and, you know, put your clear coat on. Now, some people, they'll sand the back of it. Mine looked fairly smooth, so I just put my clear coat on the back. I didn't worry with, you know, sanding the sides or the back, because everything, when you use your cutter and the template, it comes out, you know, really smooth. So, all right, that's what it looks like, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you make some of these, come on over to my Facebook page and let me see what you've made. All right, thank you for coming and watching, subscribing, and commenting. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a blessed day.